Hello, hello, Sid. Hello, good evening, everybody. I'm just being. This is Sid wanted to come and say hello to everybody as well. Perfect timing, Sid. I hope you're all well out there. I hope you're all queuing up to come and join us for tonight's show. And we have who have we got over there? Jeff and Pete and maybe Frankie. Do tell me more.
Yep, Frankie's going to visit. I think a little bit tonight. I don't know. Um, we have the wandering ponderer who's asking who has the popcorn. Station master is here. Uh, Tracy Murphy and Abigail is here. So hello, everybody.
Hello. Just a quick note. Jeff is parked. Where are you parked tonight, Jeff? Yeah.
I am in Fort Campbell, Kentucky.
Campbell, Kentucky. As you can tell, ladies and gentlemen, we are having some dropout problems, but we think they're going to go away. If there's trucks driving around the lot, they interfere with the signal. He hasn't got a terribly good signal, so we'll keep going and see how far we get. So what have you been up to since we were last here, Jeff? Can you hear me? I don't think Jeff can hear me. I'm going to carry on. Okay. It's been a really busy couple of weeks here at Gabriel Towers. A few things going on. Quite a bit of filming going on. And we've got an interesting show lined up for you tonight. As you can see, Jeff's trying to sort his signal out there. I just need to do something down here. And so, yes, we've had quite a few things going on, and not least of which, Jeff has made a video for us tonight about a mysterious English guy and a race of forgotten people. We'll look at that later. Also, we'll be looking at a Nixie watch. If you don't know what a Nixie watch is, then watch on, because we are going to show you what a Nixie watch is, and it's something Jeff knows about. The there and back challenges, we've done two now. One I've completed successfully, and the other one, well, not so, but we'll talk about that one later. We have an amazing animation tonight from Andrew Norris, who I hope is out there. I'm having difficulty reading everything that's going through. Yes, I've seen him there. Good evening, Andrew. Andrew has sent us a piece called The Search for the Uffington White Horse, which... mind-blowing. I love it. It's a beautiful piece of work, and we'll be showing that later. And thank you for letting us use it, Andrew. Greatly appreciated. We're also going to look at Jeff's handiwork, because Jeff is one of these people. He's quite handy. I think he might be back. Let's see if we got Jeff back. He can make things. He's very good with his hands. He's built houses. He's built motorbikes. He's done all sorts of things. And he's also quite a good silversmith, but we look into that later. We're also going to see a couple of pocket watches. You know me and Jeff, any excuse to talk about pocket watches, we'll be right there. And sadly, we had a funeral in town last Friday. A friend of mine, a guy called Stuart. If you've seen my video about the Viking shop, you'll have seen Stuart. He sadly has passed. He's left a wife and family and a lot of very distraught people. I filmed that because I felt it was important. People couldn't make it on the day, and I wanted people to experience it. It turns out people were really happy for me to film it, and it's gone down very well. So I'm going to show you a few clips from that. Jeff has a new regular series with us now, where he tells us all sorts of interesting things that we didn't know. Now I'm going to go over to Jeff, because I think he's there and he's got something to tell us. Yo, Jeff.
Yeah, we have Mark's Adventures with us tonight, and we have Jane Saunders, and of course, Ab is here, and we have Cider Talbot is here. Roland Barr.
Hello, Roland. Lovely to talk to you at last. Lovely. Excellent. Andrew Norris, of course, is here.
You were going to ask Abigail to contact you after the show.
Oh, yeah. Abigail, after the show, can you email me on the email address that you can see on the screen now, or you will see it any second when I press the right button? If you could possibly email me just a quickie so I can reply to you with something we need to ask you about a possible trip up to a certain station that you're only 25 miles from. But if you could do that, that'd be great. Right, so where were we? We were also, what else have we got? Oh, yes, and don't forget, you can ring us. You can ring us tonight on the show on 07464 644 288. The phone's right here. We're waiting to take your call. And if you should have any short videos, less than 3 minutes, preferably, via WeTransfer to the address that's flashing across the bottom of the screen at the moment, which is Glastonbury Gabriel, that's me, at gmail.com. So let's move on. Now, Jeff, I did tell the people briefly as we came in some of the things we're going to be looking at. Whoopsie daisy, I've just hit the wrong button. Has Jeff gone? Have we lost Jeff? We'll come back to that because we're having problems with Jeff. So we'll come back to that. I'm going to show you a film now. About a YouTube channel. We have films regularly on here. Andrew sent one last week where we look at films that we found interesting, channels that we follow. And this week I want to tell you about a guy called Jago Hazard. I know it's a strange name, but hey, it's YouTube. Anything goes. This guy looks at the London Underground and he's actually rather interesting. Have a little look at this.
Good evening, or good whenever you're watching this. Not too long ago I did a little Q&A session to celebrate passing 200,000 subscribers. One question I was not able to answer at the time was, what are your top 10 tube stations? To be honest, I don't know. There are 272 tube stations.
Hello and welcome back to another look at a channel that I've been following on YouTube.
They are different ages. Narrowing it down to 10 was difficult enough. Number 6, Barkingside. I could have put several of the stations at the eastern end of the Central Line here, but Barkingside to me...
This week it's the turn of Jago Hazard.
...have been replaced by frequent electric tube trains, but with the setting in the architecture it's hard to imagine that you're less than an hour from the City of London. Number 5, Gants Hill. This is another Charles Holden, but what makes it...
Most of Jago's output is about the London Underground, and I personally find it absolutely fascinating.
...pastiche of the Moscow Metro, and it has this incredible grandeur. Yet at the same time, it's not some major interchange or central location. It's in Gants Hill. It ought to be a total folly, but it's not. It's just delightful.
So there you go. I won't bore you with too much of that in case the London Underground isn't your thing, but it is an interesting channel. He has lots of things to say, and we've still not got a Jeff with us. I don't know what's happened to Jeff, so we're going to have to carry on sans Jeff, sadly. So I'm just going to go down here. I do have a script because, oh, hello, is that Jeff coming back? Let's have a look. Jeff, are you with us?
Yes, I am. And it's so frustrating because we tested this for like 20 minutes and it worked.
It worked perfectly. But then, of course, we're now live, so it's all going to get screwed up. So I'm going to go back to where we were. I'm going to put my glasses on and go back to where we were so I can find out where I was. Yes. So we were talking about the Nixie watch, Jeff. Not everybody knows what a Nixie watch is. So this is a Nixie watch, and I guess it doesn't look like a watch until you press a button, and then this happens. I don't know if you can see that in this light. Can you? There we go. You've probably seen these dials and numbers on old-fashioned machinery. but the Russians apparently still use them. Jeff, what can you tell us about Nixie watches?
The first one was designed by a guy in Arizona, and the circuitry that he used was the same as they use for the throwaway cardboard cameras for the flash,
Yeah.
because they required 200 volts to fire the tubes.
So have I got 200 volts
But
running around on my wrist?
yeah, I think, yeah. And the trouble that they had was those circuits were made to flash like 10 times and be done. So they had to come up with different circuitry. So then they designed their own circuitry for them. But those Nixie tubes are quite old. They're from the 50s.
I've just seen my mate Barry West from Western Supermares popped in to see us. Hello, Barry. So these are available in diminishing numbers, are they? They're getting harder to get these particular things.
They are. They're getting very hard to find, especially the smaller ones that they use in the watches, because the existing stocks are being used up.
Yeah, because basically they're like if you look at them closely, you can't see them in the watch too clearly, but they look like an old valve. And what they are is plates stacked one in front of the other, and each plate has a number on it. So depending which one is lit up, that shows through the wire cage that makes it up. Very clever. Also, I believe they're more reliable when it comes to EMP. You know, if you get one of these anti-electrical bombs goes off, all your LCD stuff goes out, but this stuff carries on working apparently. So yeah, that was an interesting. We just thought we'd show that because I'd never seen a Nixie watch till this one turned up, and now it's one of those things. Every time I look at the time, I get a crowd of people. What's that? What's that you're looking at? So I thought it'd be nice to just to show you. I gotta say, I do like wearing that because it is just so unusual. You know, it really is. Can I just, Jeff and where's the camera? Jeff and I were having a conversation about these on my glasses. I'll explain now in case anybody doesn't know. At long distance, I don't need glasses. To read a book, I need 3 magnification glasses. To work on my computers, I need 1.25 magnification glasses. I'm a skinflint, I've got no money, so I buy them in the pound shop and they're all the same. And if I took the labels off, I wouldn't know which glasses, and I'd be sat there like this, doing this all night long, getting nowhere. So that's why, in case anybody wants to know, these labels are on my glasses. So Jeff is one of these guys, and I'm going to say nice stuff about Jeff now. Jeff is one of these guys who can do pretty much anything you ask him to. Ask him to build you a house. He's done that a few times. Ask him to build you a car or mend a car. He's done that loads of times. Want a motorbike built? He's your man. Jeff also has silversmithing skills. And I want to show you this that Jeff made. It's a silver bangle and it contains 3 coins. Jeff, can you tell us a bit about these coins? Because I can't.
They're 1935 Indian head buffalo nickels.
And these were legal tender in America for a while, were they?
Yeah, for a really long time. And you have to pick the right years because when silver is plentiful, they had high silver content. And then other years they had a much lower silver content.
Yeah, I think our coins in this country did that. So no, it's just beautiful. I mean, they're actually the real coins. You can see the rear faces in there, and there's 3 so that you can see the buffaloes on the outer ones and the Indian chief in the middle. I think they're wonderful. And again, until I got this, I didn't know that America even had these coins. I'm sure other people in the audience will know all about them and tell me all about them, but I didn't know such a thing exists. But yeah, thanks, Jeff. I mean, that is a beautiful bangle. I shall treasure that. And we're lucky to have another film this week from Andrew Morris. I've been looking forward to showing this film. Jeff has seen it already. In fact, it was Jeff who suggested I ask Andrew if we could show it because you'd seen it a while ago. I'm hoping maybe if Andrew's around, he wants to ring in and tell us a bit about this.
Andrew's here. I saw him a few minutes ago.
Yeah,
Andrew Norris.
He's here. So if Andrew, once the film's finished, if you could just call in on the number, which we have right here, it would be great because Jeff tells me that a lot of work went into this, and I'm sure the people would be interested to hear. If you can
The story, we showed it before, the story was that he had said was that he had worked on this for years. I mean, a lot of years, like in spare time. And so, yes, it would be wonderful if he could call in. We have Barry West with us tonight. Hi, Gabriel and Jeff. Hope you are both well. I have been in Glastonbury today and was pleased to see Merlin, and he was looking well.
Oh, that's good news because Merlin, since his little, has been not so visible. He has been out. Has he been out once? He is around. I am keeping an eye on him, and we do hope to get him on the show here at some point as a co-presenter, which would be nice.
I think Abigail is somewhat less than pleased with London transport. She says, had to use London transport coming from Italy, and it was an eye-opener.
It can be, especially if you're not used to it. If you're used to it, there's probably different ways, maybe different routes, different lines you could take, but it can be, and it can be so hot down there. Some of those deep level lines just get hotter and hotter every time you go on them. They're not good.
Allison says, Jeff, I like your T-shirt you're wearing. It looks cool. Thank you. You'd never know that I like sock monkeys, would you?
No, you wouldn't. You wouldn't know.
I've had Pete for quite a number of years. Pete was a gift from my sister. He usually travels in the passenger seat. My sister told me that she didn't want me to be alone all the time, and Pete was all the responsibility that I could handle. So we get along really well. He's been known to eat all the cookies, and we kind of go round and round because sometimes he leaves messes, but it's all good.
Yeah, and it's in a small space like a truck. You've got to work with each other, haven't you? Otherwise, it all goes very wrong very quickly.
And no matter how stressful things get, I've never, ever heard Pete say anything disparaging. So,
Well done, Pete. Pete's actually been here. Pete came to visit. Jeff hasn't yet, but Pete has. He came over for a while and he went to see another YouTuber called Kevin. He went to see him for a while. So, yeah, I mean, hello. If you just knocked my light. Sorry about this, ladies and gentlemen. The cat has just knocked my modelling light. Poppy, please don't do that. Thank you. Yes, and so he has been over here, I think it was a couple of years ago. So I have actually met Pete and he's looking good. He's just, his clothes have all been laundered recently, haven't they, Jeff?
Yeah, I straightened him up a little bit. He has less traveling demands than a human would,
Yeah,
so,
yeah. And even fewer than Frankie, I'd imagine.
Frankie, yeah. I picked up Frankie. Frankie is a big fly. And I picked him up and he rode around with me for a while and I finally got rid of him. I set him down and told him, look, Frankie, I'm going up north. It's really cold up there. You need to leave. You won't like it. He left, but I picked him up again today. I don't know where he's been. He looks a little plumper now.
Does he? He looks well looked after. That's good news. That is such good news. Well, we were about to show Andrew Norris's film, weren't we? Ladies and gentlemen, please sit back and enjoy this film. You'll see what it is.
Okay, everything's nice and straight in here. Right? Yeah. Houston, amazing. Keep down, all right. Houston, Roger, we copy? Roger.
Now, I know we ask people for films that are 3 minutes long, but hey, when stuff's that good, I just want to sit and watch it. I hope you enjoyed that as much as I do. I've been talking to Andrew. You've probably seen in the comments down there. He lives in Croatia and phone calls aren't cheap from Croatia. So what I'm going to try and do is, before we do this again, I'm going to try and get WhatsApp working on here. And then we'll be able to have a chat with Andrew, and he can talk us through, because I tell you, that was a stunning film. I really, really, really loved that. And the skill to actually make that go through at a constant speed reminds me of the old projectionists and filmmakers when they used to have to crank the cameras by hand. Do you remember them, Jeff? similar skill. I mean, that was absolutely amazing.
Do I remember them? I'm old enough to have done that. I'm old enough to have had an 8mm that camera that you cranked.
Yeah, absolutely. It was nice. I was looking back through the comments while that was running, because I've watched it about 8 times in the last week. So I was looking through. A few people who follow Jago. Tracy Murphy does, Mark's Adventures, and obviously Bernie does. He is very interesting. And also somebody mentioned Jeff Marshall. It was a toss-up. Should I do Jeff Marshall or should I do Jago for this week? And literally I tossed a coin and it came down for Jago. I watched Jeff Marshall. I found Jeff Marshall when he was doing all the stations. Him and his girlfriend at the time visited every single mainline station in this country and Scotland and Wales. Every single one. It was an incredible feat, but they did it, and I've watched him ever since. I think they're not together anymore. He does his own thing, but no, that was a very good thing. And I see a few more people have watched it as well. Yeah, he is good. He is good, and not such. Obviously, Abigail didn't have a good time down there, but a lot of people do. And who is it who said their local stations? Somebody was telling me their local stations. I can't remember. I can't find it now, and I'm not going to look. But somebody was telling me their local stations. Perivale was one of them. That's where my dad was born. My local station when I lived in London was Uxbridge, at the end of the Metropolitan and Piccadilly line. A beautiful station that has also got its counterpart at the other end of the line. I could do a video about that next time I'm in London, actually, because they're very similar and very, very good stations. Anyway, Andrew Norris was also telling me here, if I can find it again quickly, that he worked in Reba, so he had access to the actual plans and drawings of Charles Holden, who was an amazing guy. I love his work. Again, hello, Poppy. I'm thinking of doing a film about Charles Holden and the stations he made, because they were so important. So I'm going to move along now. Thank you again for that, Andrew. I received a call from my friend Mohammed in London recently. Now, Mohammed is a watchmaker. He has a tiny little market shop in a place called Dalston, Kingsland. And he spends all day in there pretty much changing batteries and changing straps for people's watches. They're queuing out the door. He's doing it all day. But he is also a very fine watch repairman. And he repaired a couple of watches for us.
I was going to say, once in a while, you give him a reprieve to work on a real watch.
Absolutely, we do that. So these are two that he's done. This one here, we're going to talk about tonight. So I'm going to put that down for now. This one here, we're going to talk about another time. I don't know if you can see on the back, but it's engraved and it has a price on the back. And I'm going to read to you what it says. I'm going to change my glasses and I'm going to read to you what it says on the back of this watch. And while I'm doing that, I'm just going to run some VT. There we go. So on the back of this watch, it states it costs £12. It's an Elgin and it is sold by CD Peacocks in Chicago. Well, this is CD Peacocks in Chicago. And that is the very room in which this watch would have been sold. So it has an interesting history that we're going to look at another time. So for tonight, I want to click this button here and I'm going to hand over to Jeff, because he's going to tell us about this rather beautiful watch. I'm having real trouble with autofocus, so I need to invest in one that focuses, I think.
Is that the Rockford?
This is the Rockford. If I turn it around, you can see the back of the Rockford. And there's a very interesting story behind these. You'll notice this is what you would probably consider a normal watch size. This is what the Rockford. This is a 16 type size watch. This is an 18, so it's bigger and chunkier. But we're going to let Jeff tell us all about this because he knows the history of Rockford, and it's a bit of a sad story, really, Jeff, isn't it?
It is. It's a very sad story. That watch came from the Rockford Watch Company in Rockford, Illinois. They started in 1875, and for a long time, they only made a few watches. For the first 4 or 5 years, they only made 60 watches a day. And with time, they got to where they could make like up to 100. And they had a financial crisis in 1894, and they slowed down, and they got bought out by the Illinois Watch Case Company, which was not the same company as Illinois that built the absolutely wonderful 60 hours. It was a separate company. They got bought out, and they began to make watches again. But the people that worked there, they considered the company cursed because they had a fire in the polishing department, and some people were injured badly. And then they had a lightning strike hit the building, and some people were injured very badly. And the lightning strike actually went well into the building and struck a whole bunch of people. And they limped along until 1915, and they went out of business. And when they went out of business, the guy that owned it, Rockford, his idea was always someday when economic times were better, he would go back into they would fire up the company again. Well, in the early 20s, his son was kidnapped by two men that were students at the local university, and his son ultimately was killed. And it took such an emotional toll on him that the company never came back. And that's why Rockford watches are really pretty rare, especially one that runs like that one.
Yes, and keeps good time. These two watches came back from Mohammed on the same day, 2 Thursdays ago, so more than 2 weeks ago. And if I hold these up, can you see the time they're telling? This one, which is a slightly cheaper one, has lost a little bit.
Slightly.
But that over 2 weeks, you're not going to complain. And that could be very easily regulated out on the regulator, couldn't it, Jeff? If I took it back to Mohammed, that sort of thing.
Yeah, probably a little closer, but it was a $12 watch, so
yeah. I mean, we're pretty happy with the way it's running, and it's keeping good time along with this one. So we just wanted. Sorry.
The Rockford was a really good watch, but it was built long before Kipton, so of course it's not the caliber of a 60-hour or a Ball 999B.
And it's full plate. They went away from full plates, didn't they, to looping, which is a multiple plate.
Yeah, looping. Yeah.
But all the same, I mean, it's a beautiful watch, and to have a Rockford that actually runs is quite an achievement. So well done. He actually had to make a part for this, didn't he, Jeff? He actually manufactured.
Yeah, he had to make new jewel holders for the jewel, and he had to put new jewels on the balance.
And he's done it, and it works perfectly. Well, that's that. So that was that. Now I'm just moving along. I've got to look over here because we've gone off track a bit. So it's Challenge Gabriel time. It's can I get there and back in a day time? Good question. We've done 2 challenges so far. We did the one to London, which we failed. Although some people have very kindly pointed out I actually got to where I should have been. It's just that the shop didn't do what I wanted when I got there. We failed. So they're saying technically you didn't fail, but we didn't do what we set out to do. So we'll put that one down as a fail. And then the next challenge was to go to Exeter. Well, that went a bit better. Let me show you what I mean. Here we are at Chiswick Bridge. This is actually in Hammersmith. This is where we catch the bus, and this bus takes us out to where we're going. There's the Fuller's Griffin Brewery. I have been there and done a video, so if you want to see all around there, please do. And here I am. I cannot not go and stand next to a level crossing as a train does that, 3 feet away from you. It's most impressive. And hey, whatever. This is walking through the town there on our way down, and I will tell you exactly where we are now, because I'll look on the map and tell you, because it's all disappeared and I can't find it anymore. Well, ladies and gentlemen, sadly I needed to admit defeat. Oopsie daisy. And like I say, we got there and they didn't have it. So we cut now to the next challenge. This one's a happier challenge. This is the bus. This is the 376. I'm in the Mendips, and that's where people get their television from. And this is Brunel's masterpiece, Templemead Station. That's the original station there, not the bit at the back with the clock. And here we are now. We're on a train on our way through the countryside to Taunton is our first stop. Taunton. Now, if we had reasonable buses from Glastonbury, I would have got the train from there, but that's another story. Then we're on to Tiverton Parkway, and before long we find ourselves in Exeter. Now, in Exeter, there's a short spur that connects the South Western Railway to the Western Railway. It's very short, and it is very, very steep. Now, I'm not sure it's the steepest of what, because it's not the Licky Incline, but it is very steep. You can hear the motor on this train running really hard. And then here we are at Exeter Central Station. So there we are. We've made it to Exeter. This is my old coffee house where I used to go. And there's a rather impressive Romanesque building right opposite that, which is coming up here. It's got quite a nice precinct in it. So you know me and precincts. I had to go in. And in we go, and we do a little scoop around, and then we finish up. Now, Exeter is a really nice medieval town. It was bombed, and lots of it was removed. There is another video coming up while I look around Exeter, which isn't on here, because I didn't want to bore you. But basically, there's another film coming up which has got the rest of Exeter. I go into the cathedral, I go into some of the little churches, I look at some of the older buildings, but for now, that is the video. And we obviously got back, otherwise I wouldn't have been here. Hence, that challenge was a success. We've got, oh, hello, Jeff wants to say something.
I just wanted to catch up on the comments a little bit. Everybody was very thankful to Andrew Norris for sending the film in, and they were telling how much they enjoyed it. And also, Allison O'Brien said, quite moving, Andrew. And we have Jackie with us tonight, which that's wonderful. Welcome,
Hey,
Jackie.
Jackie, how you doing?
Station Master says Frank Pick was in charge, Holden was the chief architect, and Harry Beck designed the classic underground map.
Yeah, there's some very clever people working for the London Transport Passenger Executive, or whatever they were called back then. Very, very clever people. So there we go. That's the 2 challenges. We need to pick another one. Now, as we said before, please keep these destination suggestions coming in. And also, somebody has sent me one through Facebook, not through YouTube, but somebody sent me one, and they've also given me something to do when I get there. So if you think of something, somewhere to send me as a challenge, and you can come up with something that I've got to do while I'm there, all the better. So anyway, tonight we have the dice, and Jeff has randomly selected 6.
I'm thinking a good day trip would be Las Vegas, go to the Heart Attack Grill.
Well, I think we should do that. We're going to do that, but it might take us a little longer than a day. If you don't know about the Heart Attack Grill, ladies and gentlemen, I think the name says everything. But you know us, we'll take a challenge so you don't have to. Anyway, here's the dice. We have got 6 destinations chosen at random from our ever-growing list by Jeff, and I'm going to read them back to you. At number 1 is Gloucester. At number 2 is Birmingham. Number 3, the fair city of Portsmouth. Number 4, Falmouth. I've got a friend in Falmouth. Number 5, a beach. It doesn't specify which one. And number 6, this is the one we had that I rather liked because it had a something to do, and that was to go to Hereford, but more specifically to the cathedral, and to buy a copy of the Mappa Mundi from the cathedral shop and get back to Glastonbury in a day. So that one's quite specific. So if number 6 comes up on the dice, that's where we're going. So I want to make you to know that this is all legitimate. So here's my desk. There's the dice, which I'm now going to throw for you now. There we go. It's come up at number 2. So if we look back at the list here, you'll see we're going to Birmingham. We are going to Birmingham. I'm sorry to wave that around, but we don't have the technology here to do it any other way. So we're going to Birmingham. That's interesting. Now we've got to think of something to do when we get to Birmingham. I can think of several things. There's a new library that has just been built in Birmingham, which is, I need to get this bloody thing. There's a new library that's just been built in Birmingham, which is quite amazing. But there is other things. I'm going to get a new bag. That one's zip's gone.
What about was it the Cavern Club? Is that what it was called?
Matt, that's that's Liverpool. That's where the Beatles.
Oh, that's Liverpool.
That's in Matthew Street in Liverpool. Yeah, it's although people go there and they see the Cavern Club and they go in and they go down the stairs and they think they've been to the Cavern Club. What they're actually visiting is a reconstruction of the Cavern Club, because the original Cavern Club demolished. So it's in the same street, it's very close, but it's not the original Cavern Club, which is
it like America? Did they destroy something truly historical to put up a Walmart?
Yeah. I don't think they put up a Walmart, but yeah, it just got demolished and was taken away. So there you go. So if you're going to Liverpool, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here first.
Tracy says, hello, Jeff. What's your weather like over there? I am in Fort Campbell, Kentucky, and it's a spring day. It's really very nice. The dogwoods are flowering here. I wanted to take a picture of the flowering dogwoods because I wanted to show Andrew Norris, because his trees aren't blooming yet, and I thought it might, give him a little spring. But when I found one, there was nowhere to park, and when when they're the story.
Yeah, I think I'm right in saying, because of what you told me the other day, that they're behind us in Croatia. Their daffodils are just about to come out now, aren't they?
That's what Andrew said the other day. He said that he was anxious to get home because his daffodils would be blooming.
Right. Now then, any more comments there, Jeff, before we show your film?
Jackie said, doing okay. Gabriel's shingles jab yesterday made me feel a bit off, but feel better this evening. I have to go and get my shingles shot. So keep us posted, because
me too. Keep us posted, because I've been offered one. I don't even know what shingles is.
My dad had it, and it was horrible. And my sister Tammy had it, and it was horrible. Yes, it was bad.
So it might be worth getting this jab then.
Yeah.
Okay. Any more?
Portsmouth, as my niece was based there on the Queen Elizabeth. That's from Abigail.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, like I explained last week, the numbers that weren't picked today go back into the collection. And just before the next show, what I do is if I've got like 7, or if I've got 10 of them, I'll say, Jeff, I need 6 numbers between 1 and 10. Jeff will pick 6 numbers, not knowing what's related to what. And then those numbers are just assigned to those in the order that Jeff gives me the numbers. I pull them back up and they're put onto the dice. So they'll go back in. So
Andrew Norris says, yes, we're a little later over here. Daffodils have just started coming out.
oh wow, that's when were ours? February? Did I show you that first picture, Jeff? Because
Yeah.
I always remember this because my mum, bless her favourite flowers were daffodils. She loved daffodils, and when I was a kid, we used to get our dinner money on a daily basis, and I don't know why, but I used to spend my dinner money on buying my mum a bunch of daffodils on the way home. Here you go, mum, bunch of daffodils. Always did it. Yeah, so I'm always quite conscious of when the daffodils come out. It makes me think of mum. Strange, isn't it?
Hello Kitty says Salisbury with a explanation point.
Salisbury is on the list. It's not on the dice. It's one of the numbers that didn't get picked up. Salisbury, I've got friends in Salisbury. I know Salisbury very well. It's got a beautiful cathedral. It's got a really nice shopping centre. There's lots of medieval stuff there, and it's a very, very historic place. And I would very much like to go to Salisbury and do a video. And it's doable from here. Train, bus to Bristol, train to Salisbury. Jeff.
Speaking of train, Station Master says, Gabe, could you not have got to Yeovil for a train from there to Exeter?
Could have done, but the trouble is the lines aren't that reliable that way, and getting through that way not so good. So Bristol straight down, it's about 40 minutes, I think. You're on the main line, it stops once, maybe twice, and you're in Exeter. And the buses from Glastonbury to Exeter are every 30 minutes. So nobody goes through Taunton, they all go to Exeter and straight down because it's just quicker.
Abigail says, Scotland is behind snowdrops and daffodils, but our trees have nothing yet. I love snowdrops. I think my two favorite flowers have to be, I like cornflowers, and I like moon flowers, and I like snowdrops.
Oh, wow. So just to go back where we've just been, don't forget, if you can think of any suggestions, get them across to us. And even if you think they're a bit wild, we'll look at it, because don't forget, if you win them all, it's not a challenge. So we need challenging. So some of these are quite a long distance away and will be hard to do in a day, but others are easier.
Mark's Adventures says, can you get to Oxford and get a selfie at the Bodleian Library and a Banbury bun?
I don't know, but I tell you what, with no hesitation, I'm getting a pen.
There's bread products involved, so that's going on the list.
Yes, absolutely. Here it is. Here's my book. And here are all of somewhere at the front here, I think. These are all the places we're working on. So I'm going to add to that list.
Tristan C says, hi, Jeff, can we see what your truck looks like? If you go to Glastonbury Gabriel's channel and you scroll back about 14, 15 months, there's a video. It's called Jeff's New Truck. And I show it inside and out. And I show Pete sitting in his seat. And I explain everything, where it all is. And it's home. And yeah. So that's where you need to go.
Okay, well, I've written those that I'm just writing down the Bodleian. That's good. That's good. I like that. So that goes on the list, possibly to be drawn out next time we go. Okay, so that's that. Now we're going to move on a little bit now. Thanks for sending in those destinations, and don't forget, keep them coming in. Now Jeff has made a video for us. And it's all about an English guy. He's enigmatic. In fact, I'll let Jeff tell the story. It runs a little bit.
It's amazing. He was an Englishman, and he showed up in Stockton, and no one can really explain why he did what he did.
Here he comes right now.
Hello, everyone. It's Jeff again, and I would like to tell you a short story about J.C. Brown. The 1903 earthquake had almost destroyed San Francisco, but Stockton had survived, and it was flourishing. And in early 1904, a young man got off a boat from South America and said that he was a mining engineer. He told everyone that his name was J.C. Brown and that his company had sent him to Northern California to do extensive research and search for gold in and around Mount Shasta. And after he had wandered around Mount Shasta for a couple of years, he was in Stockton, and he had incredible stories to tell about what he found in and around Mount Shasta. He claimed to have traveled over 11 miles inside the mountain, and in the cave he found an underground village filled with gold shields and mummies, some being up to 10 foot
Shut the
tall.
door.
He claimed the people that lived under the mountain was called the Lumerians, and he spent the next 30 years telling the people in Stockton about all of the things that he had seen. And basically he made his living off of the newspapers and magazines and anyone that would publish his stories. He met a man named John C. Root, who believed his stories hook, line, and sinker, and he convinced him to gather an exploration team that would go and explore the underground village themselves. Around 80 people wanted to join the expedition, and they sold everything they had. And on a certain day, they were supposed to meet in downtown Stockton, and they were going to travel up the Sacramento River as far as they could. J.C. Brown told them that the Lumerians had left unbreakable glass-bottom boats, and that he had retrieved them and brought them down to Stockton, and he would have them there on that day, ready for the expedition. The appointed day came that the expedition was supposed to set out. It was June 18th, 1934. At noon, all of his followers waited, but John C. Brown never showed up. A local reporter for one of the newspapers, who grew up hearing the stories of J.C. Brown, decided that he wanted to investigate and give the story an ending. The man's name was John Benjamin Bodie, and he was born on the 27th of February in 1865. He came from Cornwall, a little village called Mevagissi. I hope I'm saying that right. It's a very picturesque village from the pictures that I've seen. He died in Hindhead, England in 1940, the 10th of May. No one really understands why he did what he did. It's never really been explained. It's all kind of a mystery. Remember, everyone, be good to one another, think good thoughts, do good deeds, and I will see you on the next adventure. And then, as now, I will try and make sense of the things that happen around us.
Thanks, Jeff. That was a great film. Great film. And again, I mean, why would somebody do that? We were trying to work it out last night. We came up with a few theories, but I don't know. Anything going on in the comments over there, Jeff? Can you hear me, Jeff? Jeff, can you hear me?
I'm having difficulties here. I'm losing my signal.
Oh dear. We've got you now. How are you doing? Do you want me to carry on, or you're okay? Technical difficulty.
I've recovered a little bit.
Okay. Anything in the comments? Any comments?
Boy, what a time to lose my.
Okay, we'll move on. Just come back when you're ready, Jeff. I will move on briefly while Jeff's sorting himself out, because we had another challenge. Now, I don't know if you remember, recently I did a video about the two ladies that run Peggy's Cafe in Street. And they are wonderful people, and the cafe is part of the Pay It Forward scheme. They do a lot to help homeless and poor people by giving them a meal, basically. And they suggested something to me. You may or you may not have heard of somebody called Spudman. Spudman is a guy who runs a baked potato stall on Tamworth Market up in the Midlands. Now, he went on, at the suggestion of one of his kids, he went on to TikTok, and basically, as they say, the rest is history. I just need to see what I'm going. As they say, the rest is history, because look at him now.
Please.
He calls himself Spudman, and this square in Tamworth is where you'll find him. It's just after 9:30 in the morning, and already a hungry queue has formed. These people have all travelled here for one thing.
Come here for a jacket potato from the Spudman.
And where have you travelled from?
Just outside Oxford. Don't even like Spud, so for me to come here, it's got to be good. So, Spud fans, it's Tuesday. We are nearly ready to open.
The pull of these potatoes is all the result of social media. Spudman, whose real name is Ben Newman, attributes his success to TikTok.
Video after video just went viral. Like 92 million views on one of the videos. It went all around the world.
And incredibly, it's not just Ben's views that have gone global. Some of his customers are now flying in from abroad.
So he from America?
All the way from America.
The best one was the other day. It was a lovely couple from Malaysia. Flew into Gatwick, hired a car, drove straight to Tamworth. And I was like, oh, you're on holiday over here? And they're like, no. We've just come for a jacket spot.
At 2 million and counting, Ben's army of followers is growing by the day. And so too, it seems, is his list of happy customers, even those who earlier professed to not liking potatoes.
Well, there you go. As you can see, Jeff is still having some issues there. Anyway, the challenge, should I choose to accept it, is can I get to meet Spudman and back to Glastonbury in a day? So, through the power of TikTok, I'm going to communicate with him. Oh, by the way, I do now have a TikTok account. It's something I've only just had in the last 2 weeks. I'm still learning how to use it. I do not understand what I'm doing. I'm just doing things that I've been told to do and hoping they work. But one of the things I'm going to do is a thing called a tag. I'm going to tag him in, and I'm going to see if I can get hold of him, and we'll go up, we'll have a jacket potato and see how that goes. Jeff, can you hear us? Are you back?
I can. I think I'm back now. So I dropped out after you ran my video. So do I need to talk about that?
You could give us a bit about it if you like. Yes, because you were saying.
No one really understands why he did what he did. No one really, and the ending of the story is he went on to have a family and everything when he came back to England. It's an amazingly strange story.
It is, isn't it? And just as if nothing had happened.
Mark's Adventure asks, is that your own truck, Jeff? No, it is not. I am a company driver. I was friends with a driver at this company, the cheap people that they are, and I made tons more money than he did.
Excellent. Right. Well, now it's important that Jeff doesn't drop out this next part because it's about him. I don't think a day goes past. Jeff and I obviously talk every day. And I don't think a day goes past when Jeff doesn't say something to which I rejoin, well, do you know, I didn't know that. Every single day, Jeff tells me something I didn't know. He is a mine of trivia. In fact, you was very good. You was a champion at quizzes, weren't you? You was a quiz team member.
Yeah, I do very good at worthless trivia. Of course, you know that, and $5 will get you coffee at Starbucks. So
Absolutely. So we're going to start a new thing on here, and it's called Things You Didn't Know You Didn't Know. And Jeff is going to tell you some things that you probably didn't know you didn't know. And then when Jeff's finished, I'm going to come back because we're gonna work this. So Jeff, over to you.
well, I think the thing that derailed your little wagon more than anything else that I said was that an Englishman had invented the electric light 20 years before Edison.
Yeah.
His name was Joseph Swan. And Joseph Swan had a working light bulb 20 years before Thomas Edison. But there's one thing that Joseph Swan didn't have. He didn't have a good lawyer.
So, but didn't you tell me that he just said, "Oh, well, yeah, just use my technology"?
He pretty much was. To him, it was more about getting it out to the people and not having people's houses burned down because of candles
That's true.
and all that. Yeah,
wasn't it?
I think. But his name was Joseph Swan. You can Google him. It's truly amazing. And the other thing that I told you the other day that you really thought was amazing was that that the West Coast has such a difference in their climate. Western Washington is a rainforest, and Eastern Washington is a desert.
Wow, I didn't know that. It's completely different, isn't it? It's almost a line you can draw down the middle.
Yeah, it's called the Cascade Mountains. Yeah.
There you go. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Now, each week, Jeff is going to have a series of these little things that we didn't know we didn't know. Now, where you guys come in is because I'm sure you've all got little stories and little bits and pieces about things that people, when you tell people, "Oh, I didn't know that," can you send them in? We're going to see if we can find stuff that Jeff has never heard of. I've done it a couple of times when we've just been having a conversation. So it is doable, but the challenge is out there. We need you to send in either via the email address, which I will bring back up now because it's over here somewhere. There it is. Either via the email address or in the description of the comments.
You keep threatening to tell the story of the Franklin House in London. That's a fascinating story.
The Franklin House. That's true. You just dropped me in it there because I've forgotten about Benjamin Franklin lived in London, didn't he? And he had a house in London before he was a president.
Yes. Well, Franklin was never president, but yes.
Oh, right. Was he not?
No, Franklin was never president.
What was he? See, I'm learning again. What was he?
He was in the Continental Congress. He was one of the founding fathers. He
was
signed
one of
the
those
Declaration of Independence.
Gotcha. So he's
but the house that he lived, should I tell a little bit of the story?
We're going to do a video of this at some point.
The house he lived in London, they recently excavated underneath it, and they found a whole bunch of bodies. And for a while, they tested them and discovered that they were from the era that Franklin lived in that house. And for a while, they were wondering if he might have been a serial killer. But they went back and looked at the old records, and they discovered that along with him living in the house, there was also a medical student. And in those days, medical students used cadavers for.
They did. Absolutely. And all suspicions were removed. Well, it's actually 9:05. So we've kind of come to the end. But before we do, Jeff, I understand that news coming out of America about tumbleweeds at the moment.
Yes, there was a town in was it East Jordan or South Jordan, Utah, got completely taken over by tumbleweeds. They had 70-mile-an-hour winds. Yes, I did a video a year or two back. It was pretty popular. I think Mr. Sadler really liked it. It's everything you ever wanted to know about tumbleweeds.
There you go. And so you can look through the channel and find it there, and you just literally search for everything you wanted to know about tumbleweeds. But when we finish this video and it goes onto the YouTube channel, I will put a link in I'll pin a link at the top of the comments, and there'll be a link there for it. So you won't miss it, but it is a fascinating video that Jeff did a long time ago now, isn't it, Jeff?
Yeah. Everybody seems to be saying good night. Abigail, please get in touch with Gabriel when you get a chance, and good night. And yeah.
Here's the thing going across the screen. So any last thoughts, Jeff, before we say goodnight to everybody?
I am thankful that everybody showed up. Thank you. It's been fun. It has been a blast.
Oh, I've just seen Patricia turning up late as usual. Hi, Patricia. Nice to see you. I'm going to come around and visit you guys soon. Yes. So again, it's been fantastic, and it never ceases to amaze me. This stuff hangs together each week, and we actually managed to keep Jeff. He called me just before we went live tonight, and I think we've got problems, but no, we've kept it together. We've struggled on. I do write a script for these things. It's a loose script, but it allows me to, if Jeff disappears, I can just scroll through it and find something else, and we've got the videos all lined up. So we try. It's just our third show, Jeff, our third proper show, fourth, I can't remember.
I don't know. Ian just showed up. Sorry I'm late. Hope to catch you next time. That's really sad. Do we need to have the Ian Croatian time?
Yeah, absolutely. It's good to see you, Ian. Well, yeah, I guess. I mean, I do. If you've got TikTok, I do put a TikTok notice out, and I do put a couple of YouTube shorts out in the run up. So please subscribe to the channel. That's the best way. If you want to know when we go live, please subscribe. We are getting so close to 2,000 subs. I can almost touch it. And if we can just get a few more of you just to press that subscribe button, it costs nothing. It means you haven't got to pay anything, but it does help us, because the more subscribers we can get, the more people see our videos. The more we do that, the more people we can go out and do for you. So
and remember, for the Wandering Punter, he'll have a new video out Saturday morning. They're always wonderful. He is a wonderful person, and the station master. He's doing videos on his trains and from his community. They are always enjoyable. Station master documentaries and more. And the Wandering Punter.
Absolutely. So if I didn't say hello to you earlier on, Dave and Bernie, I'm kind of, I'm getting used to doing this. So we're getting there. I think each show's gotten better. But that's my opinion. You might disagree. But we will look forward to seeing everybody in 2 weeks from now, at the same place, at the same time, on the same channel. Jeff?
I might be home. I may be home at that time. We'll have to see what happens.
Okay, that'll be good. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for coming along. Thank you very much for enjoying the show, which I hope you have. And I look forward, we both look forward to seeing you on the next one. But for now, bye-bye. See you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody. Say goodbye, Pete.
Goodbye, Pete.